I'm asking for advice on my relationship for around 3 years. For most of the relationship, my boyfriend and I, we've had a pattern of getting into an argument every few weeks and then making up. And that's kind of been the normal, but lately it feels that our communication issues kind of get worse the longer they are unresolved. Like it's sort of like if you don't fix something by default, it gets worse the longer the issue's there. That's what I feel like. The fights get more and more bitter, and I'm trying to break the cycle. Some of the things we've tried are uh, reading communication books together, analyzing what went wrong, and being vocal. We're pretty good at analyzing and analyzing things in retrospect, and like when it sort of comes to being analytical, we're okay. But I feel like in the moment when things get heated, that's when we can't control, and sort of the psychology knowledge, it goes out the window. So yeah, these things have been helpful, but I feel they're incremental, and I'm afraid the relationship, it's getting worse faster than it's getting better. And yeah, I'm hopefully looking for some advice or insight on that.
Yeah, well, good for you for reaching out for help. How old
Yeah.
are you guys, and how long have you been going out?
Yeah. So we're both mid-20s. We've been going out for um about 3 years. So we've been long distance. So let's say we've known each other for about 5 years. Been dating for about 3 years, and 1 year out of the 3 years has been in person, while the other two have been long distance.
1 year out of the 3 years, okay, has been in person, and that's now. Are you guys living together, or what's your arrangement?
Yeah, yeah, we're living together. We're from different countries, so we kind of hop around.
Okay,
But in general, yeah,
okay.
we live together.
And what is your goal in the relationship? I mean, obviously to get along and so on, but do
Um,
you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? What's your goal?
that's a yeah, that's a good question. Conventionally, I'd say all the typical things, getting married, doing the yeah, having kids. It's not. I mean, I guess for me, I've always in the back of my mind, I've sort of always said I wanted the traditional stuff, but it's not like we've actually had a solid plan on how to make it work.
Sorry,
There's
had a what?
is that like how to like the path to marriage, the path to having kids.
Sorry, I thought
We
you
we
said we
kind of
had a
do
sword
have.
fight. I wasn't sure. Sorry, I'm sure I misunderstood.
No, no, sir.
Yet, anyway, yet. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, and is that what he wants? Is marriage and kids?
Um, yeah, yeah. I feel like he's more traditionalist than me, so he has a stronger desire. But as I said, because of our situation, we came from being long distance. We're not really we don't have a stable place to settle down at the moment. So it's yeah. He has we both have the desire. He has a desire stronger than me, but at this point, there's no real plan. It's kind of just like wishes and up in the air, if that makes sense.
Okay. And you said you come from different countries. Do you come from different cultures or ethnicities or anything like that?
Yeah. So, I we're both born and raised in the West. From my accent, I'm not gonna name names and places, but probably you can probably guess where I'm from.
Yeah.
He's
Didgeridoo.
he's
Anyway,
from.
sorry, go on.
That's stereotypical. Um, but yeah.
Listen,
So
I'm a
yeah.
Canadian standing in waist deep snow, so you don't get to tell me about stereotypes. I'm living through them right now. Anyway, go on.
um, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So where I'm from my background, yeah, so born and raised in the West. I'm East Asian. He's also born and raised in the West. He's South Asian. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of context
Okay,
as far
so
as cultures.
East Asian is sort of Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and so on. And South
Yeah,
Asian, is that Indian?
yeah. The region, yeah.
The region of India. Okay, got it, got it. All right, but you're both born and raised in the West, is that right?
Mm. Yeah. So as far as like communication and values, there isn't much of a bridge. It's always sort of communication and talking about the big important stuff. It's always been pretty easy for us.
Okay.
Um,
And how did you met
like
online?
as far as
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was saying, yeah, as far as as far as values and the big things go, there's never been a lot of difficulty in sort of discussing, and we are quite aligned. Mainly the community, the issues that we have, it's just issues regarding like communication, not talking to each other, right, and that type of thing. Um, yeah,
Okay.
sorry, you were saying.
And what about religious backgrounds? Are you both atheists? Is one of religious? Do you have different religions?
Um, yeah, so he's religious, but I feel like he was raised in a religious background, but I don't think he doesn't really like practice it, or he doesn't talk about it, or it doesn't interfere in how we interact. I would say that I'm probably like I'm a what's the word, like a agnostic, yeah, agnostic. Like I don't yeah, so I'm not religious, but I kind of believe that there's something out there. That answers your question. Yeah.
Okay. And what's his religion?
He's Muslim.
Muslim. Okay. And have you talked about how you're going to raise your children?
Um, yeah. No, no, we haven't. Because as I said, like we it's not something. Yeah, we haven't really talked concretely about these things. I mean, like maybe you're implying that we should, or I guess there's a part of my brain where I think that it's not front of mind yet. Like maybe it would be something that I'd be concerned about in a few years, but yeah, no, we don't really talk about that.
Well, is it a serious relationship that's aiming towards marriage? As far as I understand it, it is. I mean, you've got 3 years invested in
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah.
I mean,
As far as yeah.
historically, you'd already be working on your second child, right? So this is kind of a slow motion situation, right?
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, in the context of modern day, it's about normal, but maybe what's normal today isn't right. But yeah, maybe we should be having more of those conversations.
Well, okay. So, I mean, one of the basics, and listen, I say this with all humility because I wasn't asking these conversations when I was your age, and I
mm,
paid a pretty heavy price for it. So this is not anything superior at all, right?
mm, yeah,
But the reality is that if, let's say, he's a committed Muslim and he wants to raise his children in the Muslim faith, right?
mm.
Then would that affect your marital happiness?
Would that affect? Yeah, funny enough, with religion. I get the impression that he's religious, but also that it doesn't seem to like guide it doesn't seem to guide his decision making. Like he's not like on the floor praying or reading the Quran or stuff like that. And I don't so maybe he is practicing, but he's kind of like a he's kind of like a modern day religious. It's sort of like it's sort of like a lot of Christians. Maybe they go to church and maybe they maybe they say they're Christian, but it's not very deep.
No,
So
but the religion,
I think
sorry to interrupt, the religion comes into
yeah.
play when the kids are around because his parents want the children to be raised in his faith.
Um supposedly yes.
Yeah.
Just for some context, we both don't have like very good relationships with our parents. So I don't think I wouldn't I don't think he would be very burdened by sort of cultural values or like normative values. Um
Well,
but yeah,
does that mean he doesn't have a relationship with his parents or he has a distant relationship with his parents?
yeah, distant.
Well, so in my experience, and it's not 100%, of course, but in my
Mm,
experience, distant parents become a whole lot less distant when there are grandchildren involved.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they will make a play. Almost certainly, they will make a play to be in their grandchildren's lives. Would you think that might be a possibility?
Yeah, that is a possibility. The thing is, yeah, funny thing is, I guess I'd have to sort of give like more context on the relationship. His parents aren't aware that we're together. We've kind of we've kind of uh, like sort of effectively eloped. So
But
yeah,
you're not
I think
married
that's
though, right?
also.
Eloped, like living together, but you're
Oh
not
yeah,
married, right?
yeah. Apologies.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, no
no,
problem.
no. Um, so I don't think the parents would. I think his parents, being very religious, would never approve of someone being with. Would never approve of him being with someone outside his religion.
Uh-huh.
So um, for us, we're pretty serious about each other. So um, I'm pretty sure the plan of him is that he would not be letting his parents into, like, he would not be cluing his parents into any side of his romantic life. That's including children. Um,
So sorry,
yeah,
he would hide from his parents the fact that he was married and had children.
yeah.
There's a pause there because that sounds a little tricky, right?
Um, I mean, yeah. So supposedly, I guess, which also does go back into, which I suppose also goes back into the reason of why we haven't talked about um like a like a road like a solid roadmap to marriage and children, because there are still some things like blocking that.
Well, you're talking about a lifelong massive deception. Am I wrong?
Uh,
Are you dating? No. Oh, what's that I hear in the background? Is that children? No, that's just the television. I'm watching a children's show. Like, I don't even know how to, right? But you're talking about engaging in a
yeah.
multi-decade deception with his parents. I mean, what if they come for a visit? Do you have to pretend to be the cleaning lady? I'm sorry, don't mean to laugh, but I mean, what's the plan?
um yeah, no, you're right. And for me, I mean, obviously, I think I'm sort of speaking on his behalf, so I can't really. I'm pretty sure he might have an answer for that. I guess for me, I've always like assumed that he would kind of sort it out.
Okay,
I mean, because
the
like
phrase "sorted out" is doing a whole lot of work there. What does that mean, sorted out?
um, he he would kind of, yeah, he would kind of, well, okay, well, I guess I'm I'm aware of. His plan would be at some point to cut his parents off. His parents are quite his parents are quite overbearing, which is why he hasn't done it already. But I, I'm sure he does have some. He does have quite a lot of negative, unresolved feelings with his parents, and he does see them uh, as being a bad influence.
Okay. So then the idea would be that he is going to separate from his parents and they won't be part of your lives. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what you think the plan might be, or is that what he has talked about? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like cross examining you. I just want to make sure I understand where things are in terms of your
Mm,
communication.
sorry, that was. Do you, is that what I think it
Is that
is,
what you think will
or
happen? That he's
has
going to
he
separate from
told
his
me
parents?
that?
Yeah, or has he told you?
Yeah, yeah. He has made it quite clear that um he does have a lot of negative unresolved feelings with his parents. And he believes his parents are quite hard to communicate with,
Right,
and he does sort of choose being with me over his parents.
right.
I think it's also like that that culture, like uh, I think it's also like, yeah, that specific culture, um like the parents are especially overbearing. So I think a lot of uh, uh, like separating isn't as easy.
Hmm.
Especially in the West, people have this culture where just in the West in general, people have a culture where they're not really they're not really indebted to their parents, while other cultures, like it's like you're expected to like play a role. Sort of, your parents raise you. When you get older, you become the caretaker role, and so on and so forth. The parents look after the grandchildren.
Sure.
So I think he's kind of in the environment where it's not that easy to separate,
Hmm.
but he has a desire to.
Right. So you guys have been long distance for 2 years. You're living together now, and are his parents living close by?
No,
And do they visit, or how do you handle that?
no. Um, so we're kind of located pretty far from them. So maybe he goes and visits them like once every few months or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, on his side, I don't necessarily think it is it's right, but he is kind of playing this sort of like deception game, which yeah, it's not right, but I also understand with some people's cultures like it's not that easy to separate. So I do understand, I do kind of do see the I kind of do see the parts where I do take some issue, but at the same time, it's like it's I don't really have a right to um like interfere, you know, or
Well, I
well,
mean,
not that I don't have a right, but sort of like uh, uh yeah, like it's his matters,
no,
you know,
no,
he
it's no,
probably
no, no. So you guys are in many ways functionally married. I mean, I know you're not legally married, but you're functionally
yeah
married in that
yeah
you've been together for a
I'd
couple of
agree, yeah.
years and you live together, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay,
Just
so
sort of
whether you're
yeah.
a Christian or not, a marriage, you become one flesh. And
Mm,
so you don't have separate moral issues from your boyfriend,
mm.
right?
So
Like if
are you
he was,
saying that I should
sorry
assert
to interrupt.
myself more?
Well, no, it's just that you are part of it. You are participating in this falsehood. And I know that sounds like a big
Mm.
negative. I'm not saying that's necessarily a negative, right? I mean, the people who were hiding Anne Frank were participating in a falsehood, but nobody would condemn them, right? So, but you, if you can't separate yourself from this because you are participating in this falsehood, and uh, his family,
Mm.
right? His family
And it's
would
not
judge you
something
as
that
well.
it's not something that like I'm completely comfortable with. Like if you ask me, oh, if I could have it perfectly the way I wanted it, it wouldn't be this way. But I don't know. What do you? I suppose like what do you suppose I do? Like
Well, hang on,
I
hang
don't
on.
know.
So we're just at the beginning of the combo here. So give me a little
Right.
time to catch up with your life. No, my purpose is in this is not to tell you what to do, and I can't tell you what to do because you
Mm,
have to make your decisions based upon, I hope, good principles.
yeah.
So my only
And
point
I'm
here
on the
was,
same
hang
page
on,
as you.
okay, hang on. So
I agree with
sorry, we
yeah.
have to do a thing where I'm talking. You can't, please try not to talk over me because it's very awkward in the conversation. Just wait. If you can do me a favor, just wait for me to finish my point. I know you're maybe a little nervous and eager, and I appreciate that, but it does get difficult to communicate if you talk over when I'm talking. So my purpose here is not to tell you what to do, but if you say, well, my boyfriend of 3 years, him lying to his parents is his business, not mine, I would disagree with that. I think I mean, it certainly is more his business, but you're certainly involved, right?
Mm,
I mean, when they call, you don't answer the phone, right?
no.
And you listen to him lying to his parents, right? So you say, what's new? Oh, not much. Are you seeing
Yeah.
anybody? No, right? The standard sort of questions that parents have. So you are in the room and you don't answer the phone. And when his parents are on the phone, if they knew about the relationship and you needed something, you'd say, "Hey, where's the sugar?" Right? But you have to be quiet when they're on the phone. You have to pretend to not be there, right?
Mm, that's definitely something that's happened more than once.
Oh yeah. And if there's a video call, you can't even exactly walk by the background, right? You have
Yeah,
a
just step
ghost
out
in
of the
your
screen.
house, son. Look around. All right. So you are, you're part of the falsehood. And I know
Mm.
that sounds like I'm not pointing that out in some condemnatory way. It's just it's like a fact
No,
that it's
I'm
not
with
just
you on
his
that.
business.
It's not. Mm, it's not something I'm 100% comfortable with.
Well, good. I wouldn't be either. I don't think anybody with a conscience would be, because okay. And what what do you think of his parents?
Um, from what he's told me of them, I don't think I don't think well of them. And obviously, the entirety of our relationship, it's sort of been pitted as sort of a he's torn between me versus them. So it doesn't quite doesn't mean it, but the like I do feel it as some sort of adversarial thing, because when our interests aren't compatible. But other than that, from what he's told me, I don't think they're, especially nice people. I think they're very image conscious, and would rather sort of want him to play the role of what they want instead of what he actually wants, which is, yeah, basically, he ran away.
Wow, status conscious Indians who want a dutiful son. Huh. Never heard of that before. Okay.
Never heard of
Never,
it.
never. It's a shocker. It's a shocker. Okay. All right. So, did you guys meet online?
Yeah.
All right. And what was it that drew you to this young gentleman?
Um. Yeah. Good question. Um.
Because, there are easier
Like.
relationships in the world, right? So he's got to have
Yeah, for sure.
something really special if you're going to go through all of this, right? This is a very complicated situation. And so
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out what is, and I'm not saying there isn't anything, but what is special enough about him that you're willing to take this approach?
Yeah, and it's not like I never had an intention to sort of leave where I was and go look for something else on the other side of the world. So I sort of have always been on the internet space, and had a lot of internet friends. I find people on the internet where people band of similar interests to be more interesting than people in your proximity. A lot of them are kind of normies. So yeah, we first got to talking. Yeah, I we had a lot in common. It's like it's sort of like everything that I talked about. He had something to add, and
I mean, sorry,
we just clicked.
like what?
Um, um, like deep conversations, things about things about books, um, like psychology. Um, I think we also have we also I would say have like similar morals. I do like how he like I wouldn't call myself a good person, but I feel like I'm someone who I do think deeply about what's right and what's wrong, and what's meaningful. I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily do that. They sort of follow what society says, but they never consider for themselves. And I feel like he's the same as well. Where we probably are flawed people, but we do try to to think about what's right. Um,
Okay, so
that's
in
yeah.
what? Sorry to interrupt. So in what areas? And please understand, I'm not disagreeing with you or questioning your knowledge of each other. I just want to understand what it is.
Mm,
So, in what areas do you find yourself morally aligned?
uh, what areas find each other more find out we're morally aligned?
Because you were talking about having the
Um,
same values and so on, and I'm just trying to plumb and understand what they are.
yeah, sure. We do skew towards both having traditionalist values when it comes to like dating, not subscribing to the like hookup culture and wanting meaningful relationships with someone. I guess that kind of fits into morals. And also, um, I don't know, nothing. I probably could answer this question better, but n- no, nothing comes on top of mind. Sorry.
Okay, so um, sorry to be you've listened to these call-in shows before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how good-looking and or wealthy is this young man and his family?
Um. He's all right looking. I'd say I'd say he's about average. Um. Yeah. In terms of wealth, yeah, he does all right for himself.
And his family?
his family, um, no, not particularly.
Okay. So he's not particularly good looking, which is average. There's nothing wrong with that. He does reasonably well financially. His family is not wealthy or high status.
Mm,
So I'm trying to understand the pluses that bring you into this very challenging situation. And again, I'm not saying they aren't there, but help me understand the magic of the man that has you in this situation.
mm. Like there seems to be like a schism. It's like why would you go through so much difficulty? Like it must be that good, and that's what you're trying to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Um, I I I don't know. I guess maybe just like the best way that I can really explain it without sounding very like woo woo or something, but it's like we like we've always known like there's been like a mutual feeling that I think like apart from just the conversations are great. We can talk about a lot of things. We think we do have a lot when we talk about sort of like values and things that we want in terms of a relationship. They do seem to be aligned, but it's sort of I've
You
sort of
agree,
always
but
gotten
you
the
haven't
feeling.
talked much about how you're going to have a relationship or whether you're getting married or how many kids you want or
Mm, yeah, I guess maybe not. Yeah, maybe not specifically around marriage and kids, but
but that's the
I
whole
guess
relationship. That's what love and sex is for. That's like saying, well, I want to
yeah,
go into business with someone, but we haven't talked about sales, marketing, profits, or products.
maybe I do have like a very juvenile idea of love, like
No,
oh
no,
we
I'm
could
not.
get
I'm
along,
not.
like
I don't want to.
um
I don't want to. I don't want to say anything negative to you at all, right? Because I'm
okay
just getting to know the situation. So I'm not saying it's juvenile at all. I'm just.
yeah
I'm just seeking to understand what is drawing you to the man to the point where you're going to pursue this very difficult path. It's a very difficult path
mm,
that you've got going on.
yeah, and it's not it definitely wasn't from like lack of being able to get in a relationship in my local area. um I Yeah, it's like, yeah, without getting super pushy, it's like when you meet the one, you just know, and
Yeah, okay, but
maybe that
the
makes no
one
sense to
the
you.
one is not
Yeah,
magic, right? The one isn't. He's not sprinkled with some
mm,
fairy dust, right?
yeah,
The one, hey, I got no problem with the one. I mean, I met my wife and we were engaged within 3 months and married within 10 or 11. But if
yeah.
somebody were to say to me, "What do you find so appealing about her?" I mean, I'd bore everyone to death all day. So because
What
I
are
could
some
list
things
stuff.
that yeah,
I'm
what are
sorry.
some things you would say? What are some things that you would say? 'Cause maybe I'm not answering it right or
Yeah, that's fine.
thinking what you're
So yeah, if I
yeah,
were to talk about my wife, I would say she's incredibly thoughtful, kind, funny. She's got massive amounts of moral courage. She has fantastic levels of integrity. She's curious. She's not volatile. She's very even tempered. She has a great sense of humor. I mean, I could just go, she's blindingly insightful. She makes connections that I would never have imagined. And she has a fantastic judge of character. She really thinks for herself. Like, I won't, I don't want to make this call about me, but I would have a lot to say about the virtues and values that, and I find her very sexy, all these kinds of great things. She's very attractive to me, very attractive as a whole. So I would sort of say there are all of these things that that would make me want to cross mountains and cultures and ford rivers and swim oceans and so on. So when it comes to that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for in terms of, and we met, we're both Europeans, although from the opposite ends of Europe, and
mm.
we met locally so we could spend time together. I mean, you guys have crossed entire oceans and continents to be with each other, and that's
Oh, so
fine, right?
you were quite a long distance as well, or you guys are from different areas?
No, no, sorry, we were our cultures are from the opposite ends of Europe, but we met we were 3 streets over when we met. We just lived in
Yeah.
Toronto. We were like 3 streets over. So that's what I'm sort of trying to understand is, I mean, the way that I work with love is our emotional response to virtue if we're virtuous, right? And you said yourself, you're not a
Mm,
particularly good person, although you strive that way. He and I don't necessarily, I don't fault people for lying if it's the right circumstance.
mm,
So, if you were trying to escape Soviet Russia and you had to tell a lie to the crossing guard to get away, I would be like, yes, lie your butt off, right? Because you're trying to get out of totalitarian Russia. So, but I'm trying to figure out what is it that are his shining virtues, and I don't mean this in any sarcastic way at all. There's no quotes around this, but what are the
mm,
virtues that he possesses that has you pursue him and 2 years long distance, a year living together, hiding from his parents, and he's Muslim and you're agnostic, and you haven't even talked about how to raise your kids, and like I'm trying to figure out, because there's a lot of differences in ethnicity and values and history and experience and religion and culture, and right. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, let me ask it more basically. What are the moral qualities you admire about him?
um, yeah, I think I think he's kind. I think he's thoughtful. Um, I think he really does care about me. Like one thing that I did find, you know, very endearing is that sort of when I talk about something, when I mention when I mention something I'm interested in, like a book or something, like the next time we talk, he'd come back and say, "Oh, I read this," or "I looked into this," and and sort of like just sort of the fact that because a lot of times you talk about stuff and it's just like surface level, but the fact that he actually took interest in my interests, it made me feel heard. And I don't know, I don't think many people do that, and it's not like they have to, but I did find that particularly like yeah, I was particularly touched by that. I'm not sure what exact moral virtue that would be. Maybe it's sort of like being thoughtful.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, I think I think he does think for himself. Both of us being from relatively strict or very relatively solid, like rigid cultural backgrounds.
Yeah, kind of conformist
We both
cultures, right? Yeah.
yeah, we both sort to buck the trend. So I think there has been a solidarity in there, just in how in our lived experience. Um, Hopefully that answers your question a little better.
So he takes interest in the things that you take interest in, and that's nice. I mean, that's a good, and it's thoughtful, and he's thoughtful towards you, and that's nice towards you, and those are good things to have in a relationship. But moral virtues tend to be a bit more facing the world, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Have you seen situations where he's had to stand up? Sometimes at perhaps significant personal cost, he's had to stand up for something that is right and true and good. And, he fights the good fight and, what warrior virtue guy and that sort of stuff.
um, I mean, I don't think there's been a situation where it has called for that type of action, but based off
Oh,
our
no, every day.
conversations.
No, sorry to interrupt. Every day, because he's in his mid-20s and
Mm,
he's living far away from his parents, and he still hasn't told them he's dating. So every day that he maintains that lie is he's not doing that, right? And maybe there's good reasons, I
yeah,
don't really know, but he's hiding you like a shameful secret.
yeah, yeah. But I guess it's sort of like you mentioned, it's like maybe you're living in Soviet Russia, and it's sort of
Well, no, but
you're
he's
one
not
way
living,
to
but he's not, sorry to interrupt, but he's not living in Soviet Russia.
yeah. I guess sort of like if you're in a if you're in a situation where there's a lot of restrictions on sort of what you can do, you're trying to escape, but it is a little haphazard. And I guess I do agree with what you say. It's not the most virtuous thing, and yeah,
Well, I
supposedly
mean,
you could see
I want to
that.
be, sorry to interrupt, I do want to be fair. So what are the restrictions on what he can do? Why is it that he can't tell his parents or be honest? I mean, are they paying his bills? Do they Is he on their health insurance? I have no idea, right? But what are the reasons that he can't be honest about his relationship?
Um, his parents would literally disown him. Um,
And
and and I think he doesn't want to burn that bridge
well, but it's going to
because
happen sooner or later, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So and again, I sympathize, I really do. But that's what I'm trying to understand is he just avoiding that confrontation? Is he like, why wouldn't he tell them? Say, oh, well, and you said he only visits them once every couple of months. He doesn't have any particularly close relationships with them. They're conformist and
Yeah.
shallow, kind of NPCs, if I understand this correctly. And he's a free thinker, thinks for himself, and so on. So that's what I'm trying to understand. I can like I can follow completely if it was some long distance relationship and he wasn't sure, but you guys are living together. Which by the way, you said you're both kind of conservative. No, no, because you shouldn't be shacking up together if you're conservative, right?
Yeah, I guess conservative as in that the norm is kind of hookup culture, and we're conservative relative to that. But yeah,
Well,
not
but that's not very
conservative as in,
conservative, right? I mean, you should be getting married, I think, shouldn't you?
yeah, sure,
I mean, that
sure.
would be more traditional if I understand it, right?
Yeah, 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 you're right.
Okay, so why, if his family is going to disown him if he's with you, and he's planning on staying with you, and you've already spent 3 years together, and you've lived together for a year, and when would you like to get married?
Um, yeah, I guess as I said, I I I I don't really have a solid
No, but just roughly, when
I
would
don't
you? I
have a
mean, hang on,
timeline.
sorry, I don't want to get too vague here, and I know I'm not asking you to name a date. Would you like to get
Mm.
married this year?
Um, no, but
No,
if
okay.
I had to say roughly, maybe like yeah, maybe when I'm like 30 or something, which is a good
When
few
you're
years away.
30,
Uh, I,
in
I, I,
5 years?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't. That's when like people in my circles are getting married.
No,
I know it's
no, no,
late
no,
by
no, no,
biological
no.
standards, but
Hang on. You can't say, well, I'm a free thinker and I am traditional, but everyone around me is getting like you can't do both, right?
okay, okay, yes, yes, you're right.
If you're not an NPC, you can't say, well, this is what all the NPCs are doing, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so forget this. So you want to be with the brother for 8 years before you get married? Why? Why wait so long? And I'm again, I'm happy to hear why. It's just, but why?
I I mean, yeah, maybe buck what I said earlier about being conservative. I mean, I define conservative as in not wanting to engage in hookup culture, but um, yeah, I suppose in other ways I'm not that conservative. I've never thought strongly about wanting to wanting to thought strongly about when exactly I wanted to have kids or when exactly I wanted to get married. Maybe it's not good because, as you
No,
said, most
I'm not
people think
judging.
about it.
I'm just trying to understand. So
Mm,
you might want to get married in about 5 years, right?
yeah, it's
And why?
I don't.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but why would there be the delay? And I mean, traditionally, it would be a delay to date a guy for almost a decade before deciding to marry him. So what's wrong with getting married this year? And again, maybe there's good reasons. I'm just not sure what they are.
Yeah, if I could, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I think it's also just I haven't been thinking about it because there are just these other things in relation to his family, us not having a permanent place that has kind of been a blocker in has kind of been a blocker in getting married, and also sort of my desire. I've sort of pushed that back.
What does it
And
mean you don't have a permanent place?
um yeah, we're sort of doing the digital nomad thing at the moment.
Huh.
We
Okay.
haven't exactly come to a conclusion on where to settle.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So maybe it is, yeah, I think maybe my idea of a romantic relationship at the moment, it kind of is in that phase where we're kind of just enjoying each other and yeah, and then not thinking about those responsibilities, which I think I will eventually, but maybe that's why I don't have that. I don't have a solid answer to the questions you're asking. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you're kind of a modern woman that way, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And I don't mean that in any negative way, but I mean that's not what a traditional
Yeah.
woman would say,
Mm.
which is fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood where. And do you want to have kids with him?
Oh, yeah. One day. Yeah.
Okay. And does he want to have children as well?
Yeah. Yes. He seems to be. He's more. He he's more he's more traditionalist than I am. So he would say definitely yes, and like a stronger desire than me.
Okay. So you guys are gonna, travel around and do the digital nomad thing and do the boyfriend girlfriend thing for years to come, right? I mean, that's the general plan.
Mm. Yeah, the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
All right. So tell me what's going on with your conflicts. You said that you fight every couple of weeks. What's happening there?
Um. Yeah. So it seems that we sort of have these like arguments where they're not anything. It's not like the best way I'd describe it is it's kind of like a toxic bickering. Like one person says something and maybe they didn't mean it maliciously, but it rubs the other person the wrong way,
Can you give me
and
an
the other
example?
person kind of um yeah, sure. Well, let me just think. Let me just think. Um. So for example, I think he was saying this was something that happened like over text. So just to
No,
give you
can
some
can we
context,
give
like
a
he
can
was
you give me a
saying,
verbal one? Because the text sucks for communication of anything emotional. So can you give me a verbal conflict that you guys have had and what the topic was?
yeah, verbal. Um, um, okay, sorry. We have been for the past few weeks we have been separated. So most of the examples I can think of on top of mind are on text.
Sorry, why have you been separated?
Oh, he's got some obligations for work, so he's just there doing his own thing.
And you can't go with them? I mean, I thought you guys were nomadic.
Yeah, well, I've just decided to stay in my current place.
Is it because of conflicts? Come on, be upfront with me.
No, not because of conflicts, but
So
he was
you've chosen
he
to
kind of
spend
made
a
a
couple of hang
detour.
on, you've chosen to spend a couple of weeks away from him, for no particular reason, not because of any conflicts, right?
Yeah, yeah, and he's kind of made a detour to visit his family. So
Oh,
that's
so it's the family thing. Come on.
yeah, yeah.
If you guys have just been
It,
together for a year in terms of being in the same place, wouldn't you want to spend as much time together as possible? Why is he off? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, why would he be off doing his own thing for a couple of weeks?
yeah, there's a few other there's a few obligations and
Okay, so
family
he's
and
visiting his family, and
yeah,
it's kind of awkward, obviously, if you're around. Okay, got it.
yeah, and because of visas and stuff, I do have some restrictions on where I can go. So the separation is not because of conflict.
Okay,
Just to clarify.
so so if you've had these conflicts, you said every couple of weeks, so you've had probably 12 to maybe 15 of them over the last year. And yeah, just one that comes to mind. And if you say I can't remember, I'm going to have to question whether you're actually a female. Because in my experience, females remember everything.
I I mean that's the thing. Like that's the nature of these conflicts. Like they're so petty. Uh, they're so like it's the type of thing where it's like we shouldn't be fighting about this, but we do. I mean, okay, fine. Okay, I do have an example. Um, so so there was like the so like
See, I
there
remind
was
you that you're a woman, and the example comes immediately to mind. Anyway, go on.
it's like yeah, I just like unlocked the no, yeah. Anyway, we were sort of this was in the middle of an argument, and we were we were kind of talking over each other, and it was getting nowhere. He's like he's like, all right, we can oh why don't we like we need to chill out. This is going nowhere.
Sorry,
Why
but what was the fight about?
why don't we um I I don't remember it's yeah I really don't remember. The thing is like I do remember this specific. I do remember this specific tangent of the argument because that is when like shit blew up. But
Okay.
maybe I could. So yeah. So it was like, all right. So why don't we just take turns talking? We don't talk over each other, and we work this out logically. So I'll go first, and you just listen. You don't say anything, and I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, chill, and I'm like, what the hell? Did you just
Sorry, he
tell me
said.
to chill?
Did he say? Oh, he said chill. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Chill, yeah, chill. And I was like, what the hell? Did you just tell me to chill? And then he's like, shut up. And that's when I was
He
I
told you
was
to
super
shut
super
up.
offended. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
bad. Bad on bro. Anyway, go on.
So I'm like, did you just tell me? I'm like, did you just tell me to shut up? And he's like, and he's like, and he's like, oh, he's like, oh, shut up. I just said, why don't we take turns talking? I'll say my point first, and we don't talk over each other. You just talked over me. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't say, I wasn't interjecting. I wasn't interrupting. I said, yeah. So he got angry that I said, yeah. When I said, yeah, he got confrontational. He told me to chill. And then I got confrontation over that. And I was like, what the hell? So so the way that he viewed it was that saying yeah was kind of transgressing was sort of transgressing the statement that he just made about us not talking over each other, and he couldn't get past that. And then I was really upset because I just said yeah, and I got offended that I wasn't necessarily disagreeing with him, but so I'm like, I
Well,
was
in
just saying
fact,
yeah,
you
like
were agreeing with
can't you
him.
just come. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was like, why can't you just calm down? He's like, no, no, that's not okay. And then I got even more offended. It was like, all I did was say yeah, and you told me to shut up. And then like it's like I, I don't know, like even like maybe you feel maybe it can like even me retelling this right now, I just like I'm just like this is so petty, this is so boring. But I feel like that's what most of the communication, that's what most of the fights are over. It's like he said, she said stuff, and we just get really bitter. We hop on what the other person says, and I kind of like with that argument in particular. It's probably like letter of the law thing versus spirit of the law. Letter of law, he's like, you don't say anything. Spirit of the law was like, I didn't say anything. I just said yeah, but I didn't really say anything. I wasn't interjecting, and see we kind of see things in a different way, and we can't kind of be empathetic towards the other person's point of view. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like even logically, I can like after this argument happened, we did talk about it. And it's like, yeah, I get what you're talking about. I get your point, and he's like, yeah, I get your point. But like in our mind, we each think that we did the right thing, and we do hold some resentment towards the other person for acting the way they did. Um,
And okay, so
it's
when you had this escalation about the okay, shut up thing, how long
yeah.
did the fight last, and how bad did it get?
Um, that fight in particular, that fight was just a tangent of the original fight, but that fight like probably lasted like hours into the night. That's how bad like we would hop on these little things for hours. Like maybe even yeah, probably like 3 or 4 into the night.
And then what happens at the end?
Um yeah, yeah, we sort of fight. We get tired of the fighting. Like, oh, I'm sorry. We make up, you know, the whole shebang. And it's all right. You
Well,
know,
but is
we,
there
we
an
do it. Yeah.
understanding? Sorry to interrupt. Is there an understanding of what caused the fight, or is there any? I guess that's why you're calling me, because you don't feel that that's
Mm,
really the case. That you sort of got to the root of the conflict and found a way to resolve it. Is that right?
yeah. I mean, afterwards we kind of hug it out, and we do talk about it. Like I think when we do talk about it, we're pretty good at sort of understanding the other person's point of view from an analytical point. But I think the negative emotion still stays. Thus, why the fights do feel worse, and the fights do continue.
Okay. I mean, the thing that jumps into my mind is that in some versions of Islam that I've heard of, male dominance and female submission seems to be slightly more emphasized than, say, in Christianity. So could it be, don't talk back, I'm the head of the household kind of stuff?
Mm, n n I wouldn't I wouldn't say I don't he doesn't come across as someone who's very, who is very, who is like that. He is quite respectful. I think the example I gave you is kinda shows him in a worse light than me, but,
Yeah, but he did tell you to shut up, which is I would never say that to my wife.
mm, yeah.
I can't
He
even
he
imagine
sorta he
saying that
sorta
to my
does.
wife.
He is. Yeah, he's really nice and like, caring to me, but he does have a temper sometimes when the
Uh-huh.
fights get really bad.
Right. And
Um,
what sort of stuff does he say when he's at his most angry?
um, yeah, he said stuff like, "Oh, go get a plane ticket, get your plane ticket now, go back to where you came from." He
Oh,
said,
so he threatens to end the relationship.
"Mm, yeah," and, he doesn't mean it. I know he doesn't mean
No,
it,
no, no, no,
but
no, no,
I
no. I don't do mind reading. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be annoying. I really am. I don't do mind reading. I simply assume that when people say stuff, they mean it. Because you could say that about anything, right? You could say that about anyone. I don't do mind reading. Has it happened on more than one occasion that he has uh, basically said he's going to kick you out?
um Yeah, when the fights get really bad, but I feel like I've said stuff like that a few times myself, and
Okay.
it is heat of the moment. It is heat of the moment stuff. I don't think I get that angry. I don't have a temper where I say nasty things, but but um but I guess, like, because of the context and because I know him, I would say that he does say those things because he gets angry, not because he actually means them.
Well,
It's kind of
but
like
that doesn't solve the problem, because if you say something to someone that's designed to hurt them, and that is a very painful. I mean, to threaten the end of the relationship is very serious.
mm,
And if you say that to someone because it's going to hurt them, then if you don't mean it, it's even worse, because then you don't mean it, but you know it's going to really hurt the other person. If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, and I know that. I know that because 'cause I'm on the receiving end, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
hurtful. And I think, like, yeah, this happened, like, over text not too long ago. I basically I laid down the law. I'm like, "Don't, like, don't say, like, don't say that. It's super hurtful. If you're gonna do it for real, but don't threaten it." And he's kinda gotten it. He hasn't said it, but I did make that very clear
So
because
what you said was, if you're going to break up with me, don't pretend to break up with me. Just really break up with me.
yeah, yeah. Like, I don't wanna break up, but this sort of, like, saying it and then retracting it, it's like it's really not good.
Okay. And how many times would you say that you guys have threatened to break up with each other?
Um, like, in fights? Um, oh, shit. Um, I guess I almost don't wanna say this, but yeah,
Well, I mean, you can say
probably
whatever you
more
want,
than
but the more honest you are, the more I can help for sure.
sure, sure. I guess how do I tell you okay, so probably more than 10, but I also do wanna communicate that it is stuff that is said, like, like, out of anger instead of something that's genuine.
Sorry, why is the anger not genuine and the desire to control not genuine?
I well, I mean, it's, like, in the moment when someone says something, like, they maybe they say something that's, like, the most hurtful thing that they could think of, but
Yeah.
that's because maybe they're upset. They don't have very they're not able to control their emotions that well.
Sorry,
They're
but
truly
what
they're
controls our emotions is love. Is not wanting to hurt the other person. That's what controls our emotions. A lack of control, like a hostility
mm,
and ugliness towards the other person and threatening the relationship in order to bully and get your way. I mean, we could say, okay, well, people have that impulse, they have that idea, or they
mm,
have that goal. But the reality is that the reason we don't do that is because we care about the other person, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't want to do things that really hurt the other person, right?
and I do care about the other person. And it's not just him. Like in the spur of the moment, I've said things that were maybe I shouldn't have said and were kind of hurtful
Sorry,
as well.
maybe you shouldn't have said. That's very vague. What do you mean?
I,
Okay,
like
what have you
I
said?
said,
What have you said that you would consider that you would regret?
um, oh, things like yeah, or things like wanting to leave the relationship and stuff like that.
And
But
have you sorry, go ahead.
that's yeah, mm, that's probably few and far between.
Well, you've only lived together for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I have said stuff like that. I have said like stuff like that in the beginning of the relationship when I was saying
What do
stuff
you
like,
mean?
oh, I
Like
should,
when?
oh, like when we first started living together, like, oh, I should go home. Um, or like, what was the point of me being here? Well, which I didn't mean, but it was stuff that I was distressed in the moment. Um,
Okay, and where do you think you've got those habits from? Like, did your parents
um,
fight that way, or did you have another relationship? But where do you think you got the habits from to act in this kind of way?
to sort of yeah, I mean, I am aware I have a lot of I do have I do have bad coping mechanisms
Okay,
from probably the
that's
way I
fine.
was brought
But
up.
where does that come from? Do you think?
Um, yeah, probably the way way I was brought up.
Okay,
Um,
go on. I mean, how did your parents handle conflict, or your family as a whole?
Generally not very well.
Okay, I get it. That's you couldn't be more vague if you tried. So if you could give me a few more details, I'm sure that would be helpful.
um, yeah, I think I was brought up in an environment where I was not able to express my to express my emotions if I was unhappy. So a lot of it has led to you know bottling stuff up. I think like even like even a connection that I did make was I remember since I was like really young, like and this is probably just, like starting from like 4 years old or you know like sometimes I just like sometimes I just like I'll just like sulk and stuff like that. Like
Okay,
I just go in a corner and start sulking,
so if you
and that
what do you mean
probably
by
is
sulk?
oh like just go in a corner and be upset, kind of be inconsolable. If someone asked me what was wrong, I wouldn't tell them what was wrong.
And why do you think you
And
wouldn't tell them what was wrong?
um yeah, that probably was like the only reason that would have happened was because I didn't have an outlet to express my discomfort, which is why I did it in that sort of way. And
An
it is
sorry, I'm
something that
trying. My apologies for trying to understand. An outlet to express your discomfort. That's almost like therapy speak, and I don't quite follow that. So children get upset. We all get upset. And how would your family handle it if you were angry or your parents are upset about something?
yeah, not being able to voice it.
Okay, again, that's therapy
Like
speak. Give me the practical thing. So, what would happen? You're angry at your parents for something, and what would happen?
um yeah, like parents would hit us and stuff.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, yeah, we'd be hit. We'd be made to do stuff that we didn't want to do. Um, it's so fr from that, yeah, you probably didn't never really and never really like expressed never really tried to express my emotions if I was upset. But that is from sort of a pattern of you can't express your emotions because you know like your parents will yell at you and and hit you. So you can't keep it to yourself or just bottle it up, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's this Asian, oh, the Asian girls are so nice, and it's like, well, yeah, but also, there's also the other part of it, which is they're not allowed to not be nice. So it's kind of hard to say super
Yeah,
nice, right?
like
Okay.
we're very cerebral. We keep it in, or
Well, it's
express
not
it in
keep
other
it
ways
in.
that we might
It's
not
you're
think.
punished for not having it in, right? Not having it stay in.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Okay, so tell me what would happen with your parents with regards to hitting. And I'm really sorry about this, by the way. I mean, it's certainly not the way that I recommend raising children at all, and I'm really sorry about that, just overall.
Mm.
But yeah, so tell me what would happen?
Yeah. Um, it, I think it'd mainly be my dad who would do the hitting. Um, like as for frequency, I don't remember how much he did it, but it was definitely being in the household, you definitely lived with the threat of violence. So it's like say he made us do something, we'd do it because you never know if he'd like come down the hallway and you catch you doing the wrong thing and
Right.
then hit you or something. So it's yeah, it was kind of like a constant feeling of fear, or at least we knew that we would be hit. And yeah, not really. Yeah, I don't know, not liking my parents a lot either, just because they did that. Um,
And how would you like? Will you hit open hand, closed hand, face, butt, somewhere else?
uh, close hand.
Oh
Um,
gosh, so a real fist, right?
on actually, sorry, open hand. Yeah,
Open hand. Okay.
yeah, just being smacked and stuff. No, nowhere specific. Probably like different places, but yeah, definitely this like a good smack, and
Right.
and, and it hurt as well.
Okay. And how often might that happen?
Um, I'd say once a it's a while ago, but probably once a month from when probably like 10 years old and under. It went away when we got older as a
Well,
youth, it
sure. Yeah,
does.
you get
But
bigger, right?
like yeah, for sure. And it's like less socially acceptable to hit like that
Yeah,
when
when you're
someone's
older,
becoming an
right?
adult. But yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I definitely do remember it being a constant thing, or at least
And
the threat of it was constant.
right. And I'm sure you've noticed this, but once a month is also how often you fight with your boyfriend.
Hmm.
You said every couple of
Um,
weeks, or it's not exactly the opposite in terms of time frame, and it may be related. I don't know for sure, but it may be related.
like maybe the point you're making is that like I'm used to like a general I grew up with like a general level of negativity and negative feelings when I was a kid, so it does seem normal
Well,
to
it's that
to
there's
live
a
with a
certain
general
pattern.
level.
Yeah, there's a pattern of violence or aggression, and the pattern seems to match in terms of the time frame. The pattern seems to match what happened with your father as well.
Yeah, I mean, as for the once a month thing, it's probably but like this is me remembering stuff that happened a long time ago, so it could have been a lot less than that. The
Sure,
once a
sure.
month was kind of just yeah,
Do you have siblings?
yes, two sisters.
Oh gosh, it's a lot of females, which is fine. I live with females too.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do you get along? Where are you in the birth order, and how do you get along with your sisters?
Yeah, I get along okay with them. I think we communicate via text these days, but it has been a lot. It has petered out quite a bit just from being apart from them.
Okay, and how did you get along when you were growing up and living together?
Um, yeah, growing up and living together, we got along pretty well. I do have one sister who is my twin.
Ah,
So definitely growing up, I think we I, I think my childhood was pretty pretty chaotic in some ways, and the two of us being similar age, and we kind of thought the same things because we were raised in the same cohort. But she kind of was an ally in
she
sort of
sorry was or wasn't?
reasoning, was an ally in
Okay,
reasoning out a lot of the things that happened when in our childhood.
okay, all right. And what about your mother?
My Yeah, what about her?
Well, you mentioned how you got along with your father. There was aggression and some violence and anxiety around his temper and so on. What about your mother?
Mm. Um, yeah, I don't I don't get along with both my parents. I don't I don't really I don't really respect I don't really respect my mother. I don't think she has. I don't think she has like a like I think like a way that I would describe her is I think I see her as being amoral,
Hmm.
which is quite accusatory, but I do have reasons.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
And one reason being that yeah, you know, my dad is my my dad is like he's like a schizophrenic.
What
Like
do you mean?
he's
I mean, do you mean like a literal
I wouldn't
schizophrenic, or he's just like
I wouldn't
confusing?
say I wouldn't class I don't think he's like I don't think he would be diagnosed as a schizophrenic. Um but he like the best way I'd say it is that like I don't know if you know Sam Bachman, but
Yes, I
Sam
do.
Bachman once yeah, cool. Sam Bachman said that when a narcissist sort of regresses in their condition, they become schizophrenic.
Hmm.
Sort of they become kind of psychotic, like they would detach with reality
Mhm.
to they would rather detach from reality to justify what they think than to be a part of reality. So I'd say is that. And yeah, the reason why I say my mom is immoral is because for all of that, she never condoned like she always condoned him. She never stood up for us and condone his behavior. And even today doesn't call him out, doesn't draw boundaries. So
Hmm.
yeah, someone like that must be a immoral one, you
And
know.
the way that you were parented, is that out of the norm for your culture as a whole?
Um, in some ways it is the norm, but some of the dysfunction, I would say it's very abnormal.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think I understand. Okay, and what is the status of your relationship with your parents at the moment?
Yeah, I don't keep in touch with them. It's been fairly easier not being in the proximity. I think my sisters have moved out as well because the parents are crazy. I think the final straw was when when my mom when my mom she got scammed of million dollars
What?
in this yeah
Holy crap!
yeah yeah she yeah she gave all her life savings and she took a $800 caveat loan on the house. So she basically took a loan on the house and she gave $1 million to some scammers in Taiwan.
My God,
Um
was that? I
yeah
assume that was a good chunk of your parents' life savings.
so that was all my mom's savings. And she essentially sold the house. Like the house we owned the house outright. She had she didn't like the only way to get the money was to get that 800,000 out of the house.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yes, essentially she endangered sh- she she risked you know making herself homeless and also making my sisters homeless and me as well. It would have been me as well, except that I was overseas. But
Right.
yeah, that was sort of yeah, that was the last straw.
Wow. 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 That's quite a tale. And I
Yeah,
guess she kept it all
exactly.
secret and all of that, right?
Yeah, so she kept it a secret. She when my sisters confronted her saying, "Why didn't you tell us?" She was like, "Oh yeah, they said the scammers said that this was like a really good investment opportunity. You can't tell anyone." And that's why I didn't tell you because I didn't want to because because maybe you'd like take advantage, which
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
she was
it
trying
doesn't
to
make
make extra money. Is that right?
yeah, or like the scammers told her to not tell anyone,
No, but why
so
was she
she didn't.
trying to make extra money? Was she short of money? Was she trying to pay for something important, or why did she need
No,
extra money?
no, no, no. She didn't need extra money.
Hmm.
Like she didn't. Yeah, that that's the crazy thing. And like yeah yeah like when this happened, this was yeah when it happened it was yeah, it was devastating. I was overseas, but like I thought I was gonna like at that point we really thought we were gonna lose the house, and like I grew up in that house, so I like it was
Please tell
yeah
me
it
the
was it
scammers
was
weren't
hard.
from India. Oh no, you said Thailand. Okay, sorry. Okay, okay.
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was like a AI scam. Like I don't know what it was. Like it was some like WhatsApp investment group, and like maybe they said they were going to be like the second Nvidia or something like that. I don't know the details, but yeah, she didn't need the money. She was doing well for herself. Like the house we'd we just paid off the mortgage. Like it's just like a really big nice house. I love that house, but she didn't need money. Like like yeah, just willingly like gave like yeah, like gave her life savings away, like gave everything away. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Go ahead.
It's yeah, and it's funny as well because like like my mom is someone who on the outside she presents herself as like a very devout like Buddhist lady. So it's like, kind of, recites aphorisms. It is kind of seen in the community as someone who's is seen in the community as someone who's like very upstanding, very charitable, very whatever. And her entire life she's been like she's been such a cheapskate as well. Like I remember being a kid and like being scared and thinking we couldn't have nice things because my mom was such like so frugal. And it's like it's like when something like this happens, it's like all the things that you claim to stand for, like they don't mean jack, like for one, like you, like you claim to be frugal, well you're not because you just gave $1 million away, and like you claim to be religious, but you're like the religious precepts say you can't lie, you lie to your family, don't gamble, and don't lie, don't gamble, and don't steal. You stole you stole basically the resources from our family. Like if we were a business partner, if you were my business partner, I'd be suing you. Like not that there's anything to sue, because there's no money, but
Oh, I guess
like
they couldn't get
yeah,
anything
that's
back,
sort of
right?
yeah, exactly. Like
No. So she went to the
uh,
cops and they couldn't get anything back, right?
um I I don't know I don't know what happened to the cops, but yeah, generally if it's over if they're based overseas, you can't do anything, and it's the money was gone. It's like it's funny as well because how she apparently how she gave them the money was she withdrew it by cash, and apparently she drove somewhere to meet someone by car and handed them the cash in the envelope, and that's how she
A
gave
million dollars in cash.
yeah, exactly. And apparently it's some cutting edge like AI company. Like why the fuck would they be making you invest? Why like wouldn't if they're so technological, wouldn't they, I don't know, have
Is she
some sort of
stupid? Like
platform?
honestly, sorry, is
Yeah,
she stupid?
I I think so.
I mean, she might
I
just be low
yeah,
IQ.
I
I
think
sort of hate to put it that way, but she might just be low IQ.
I genuinely think that. I I genuinely I don't want to like I don't want to be rude, but I think yeah, I think she can't like I think she can't synthesize sort of a like a cohesive set of values, and she can't act upon like a set of values like um that like she's I think she's not smart enough to do that. Like I don't want to say it's just an IQ thing, but
Well, it could be. Yeah,
that
could
is
be.
kind of that is a conclusion that I've come to, that yeah, she is amoral. She's not able to be moral. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's unbelievable. Do you think so? One of the things that I've sort of noticed over the years is that people who fall for scams.
Mm.
This isn't always the case, but sometimes people who fall for scams because they have a sort of deep-seated guilt about how the money was earned.
What would you be implying?
Oh, I mean, I can state it. I don't want to imply anything. Did your mother feel that the money that your family got, was it earned honorably? Was it shady? Was it government stuff? Was it like, I don't know, maybe your father was like selling weapons to Ukraine? I don't know. I mean, obviously not, right? But did your mother, might she have had the impression that the family money was there in some less than honorable fashion?
No, it was honorably.
Okay.
It was honorably. My 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 parents my parents are divorced.
Oh,
So when she gave her all of her own life savings, but when my parents are divorced, the house was transferred to her, and to sort of cover the expenses for the house, my grandparents gave a lot of their own life savings to the house as well. So in my opinion, her giving that money to scam is
oh,
I
so
think it's also
she
spitting on my
didn't earn the
grandparents.
sorry, she didn't earn the value of the house herself. It came to her through others.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
part
so
of it.
that's not,
Yeah.
but that's
So I think
not getting the money honorably.
well, I mean, my grandparents did have like genuinely goodwill in trying to help her. It was sort of seen
No,
as an
no, I'm not
effort.
saying that. No, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not being very clear. My apologies. What I mean is that she didn't earn the money. The money was given to her.
She a chunk of it, yeah,
I mean,
you can
through
say.
a divorce and through her parents gave her the money, right? So she didn't
Mm,
earn it herself. She just kind of fell into it through a divorce and through sympathy from her parents, right?
yeah,
So easy come, easy go. Sometimes that's the way. I mean, if it's your own
maybe.
if it's your own life savings that you're counting out in a parking lot somewhere or some field, that's one thing. If it's just like money that kind of fell into your lap, we tend to guard it less less so. But anyway, I mean that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's neither here nor
but
there,
the
I
thing is,
guess at the
she
moment.
also gave all of her life savings as well.
She gave her life savings away as well.
Yeah, on top of the house.
Oh,
I
to the
think
scammers.
yeah, I think the scammers they just like finessed everything.
Oh,
Like I think even yeah, I think it came to the point where like she took out 800 on the house. That was probably the max that any lender could give her.
hmm.
And the scammers told her to oh the scammers told her to come to Taiwan to like they were like oh we'll give you the money, but you just have to come to Taiwan. So I think yeah I think the scammers I think she was that like she believed the con so much that she was willing to do anything that they said. And yeah, I don't think yeah, I think if she went to Taiwan, they probably would have like made her work in a scam factory or like held her hostage or something. But I think she was, I think it was to a point where she would have done anything that they said. Like she was just that into it. But
And
anyway, that's a
did
tangent.
she get any paperwork from the handing over the $1 million in cash?
Um, not that I know of. I mean, if she did, it was probably all fake, anyways.
No, no, I get that. I'm just wondering. I mean, did she just hand over $1 million in cash in the hope of getting some money later in Thailand? That just seems. I mean, even for less intelligent people, that's quite a stretch.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the details as I
Right.
wasn't there in real
Okay.
time, but
Okay.
I'd assume no. Yeah, I heard it was just like paper envelope, give it to someone and drive away.
Okay. And how old were you when your parents divorced?
Um, I was um I was it started when I was like 11, and it probably dragged out, and my dad moved out when I was 16.
Oh my God. I'm sorry about that. That's horrible. And do you know why they
So
separated?
um yeah, yeah. Um it's like a whole thing to get into. But so my my dad was accusing my mom of cheating on him, and my my dad's crazy. Um but he would come up with these lies, and he'd kind of be like and yeah he'd come up with these he'd just like say this insane stuff saying you're bringing people over, you're like you're doing this like deviant stuff, which it's not like it was not true. It's like totally untrue, but he just like insists that it was. And yeah, like I guess like bugged my mom so much. I was like, I want a divorce, that she did agree to it. And the funny thing was like my mom's like kind of this like low IQ NPC religious lady. Like she doesn't have like an ounce of like decency. So like that just wasn't true. None of that was true. Um, yeah, well, my dad, and during that time, I know for a fact my dad did have a strong desire to step outside the marriage. Apparently, he's a so he so he's a he's a lecturer. I know for a fact he was like hitting on one of his students in his class, and he was also like sort of seeing hookers for the marriage. So it was funny because yeah, accusing the other person of this deviancy, it probably was to some extent like a projection of you know his own guilt or his own shame from
Oh yeah,
kind
it's
of the bad
standard.
things that he wanted
Yeah,
to do.
standard operating procedure is to accuse other people of what you're doing. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But like to go to that extent, like to fabricate stories and stuff like that, yeah, it's like yeah, it's like a whole nother like different level of lack of self awareness and then just projection. Yeah. So the funny thing was, yeah, we the whole time he was saying it, he was hiding it from us and pretending everything was okay.
Sorry, hiding the separation or the divorce. All right, are we back?
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah, I
sorry
think
about that. I don't know what happened.
cut
We
out there a bit.
had a wee bit of a hiccup,
Yeah, that
but
was my end.
oh, it was your end. Okay, all right, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so sorry, you were just talking about how your father was hiding the separation from you.
yeah, yeah, but my mom basically like used me as her emotional tampon, so I sort of knew everything the whole time. Um, yeah, so that was kind of the environment.
Okay, and did you ever see your parents? I guess not. Like see them successfully resolve any conflicts.
Um, yeah, no, I don't think so. I think I think it was very much kind of my dad called the shots and my mom just did whatever, like whatever he said.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, so you didn't grow up, as far as I can see, having any conflict resolution demonstrations, like how to resolve conflict or anything.
Yeah, not really.
Okay. And your boyfriend, did he see any good conflict resolution mechanics or language or skills?
Um, no.
Okay, so I mean, you've certainly said that you were reading about how to resolve conflicts and so on. How has that been going? Sort of what sort of stuff have you been reading, and how has that been working out for you?
Um, yeah, so it's something that we've started reading this book called cat like casual conversations,
Hmm.
and most of it is centered around yeah, if someone says something that makes you feel a certain way, don't don't take a step back and don't don't sort of don't react from like an emotional place. Kind of say something like, "Yep, I hear what you're saying, but this is how I'm feeling." Like it's basically just stuff that like tempers those like um initial negative emotions.
Okay, all right. And when did you guys first start trying to implement that?
Sorry, what was that?
When did you first start trying to implement these ideas?
Um, yeah. So as for really implementing those conversation skills, that's only been like since a month ago roughly,
Okay,
and I feel like they have been effective in that we haven't been as explosive, but there still seems to be like this like bitterness in a lot of our conversations.
okay, and that's why we're talking,
Uh,
right? Because if you're just trying to learn some new skill a week in, sorry, a month in, you still got a ways to go, right? Okay,
yeah.
so tell me about the bitterness.
Um, like maybe it's like because there's like you have like a track history in your head of all the times that you know of all the times that we argued that like that you kind of just are you kind of just are a bit bitter. Like it's like because of all the past arguments that you had, you can't really like it's like supposedly you want to start like a clean slate, but you can't really because like because just the negative emotions are still there.
Right. No, I get that for sure. I mean, and that's the price that is paid for that kind of escalation, right?
Mm.
The price you pay is that you then have the memory of that kind of escalation. And you guys, if I remember rightly, you've sort of 10 or more times have threatened to break up, right?
Yeah, yeah, and like we talk about it, and we talk about it. We make up. Oh, say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, like, I know I said this. I didn't mean it. I know you said this. I can see where you're coming from. Like we do reason it out, but just I don't know. Like maybe like the emotion, it's still there, and like you can't reason that out.
Well, what would it mean to reason out the fear? Because it's fear, I think a lot of it is just fear. And what would it mean to say, like, if you have both threatened the
What do you mean by
relationship,
fear?
well, you don't want the relationship to end, right?
Yeah,
And so if he threatens the relationship, then okay, so let's play this out, right? So let's say he says in the next fight, get on the next plane and go home, right? And let's say he means it.
yeah.
Okay, so what does your life look like if that happens? If the relationship is over and you are flying home, what does your life
Um,
look like?
I thought about that. Worst comes to worst, I, I, I could, I think I could settle all right.
What do you mean by settle?
It would be it would be hard and it would be hard and traumatic. I wouldn't have a home to go. I wouldn't have a home to go back to, so I'd have to find somewhere to rent. Um, but I think I could I could find a job in the local area and get settled and start here. Like it's like I don't think I want like me wanting to stay in the relationship. I don't think it's out of a place of desperation or out of a sense of having nowhere else to go. I think if worst came to worst, because it is something that I have thought about. I think if
Well,
worst comes to
you've
worst, I
both
could.
threatened and been threatened with it, so of course it's something to think about, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm saying I think I would be okay.
All right. So why would you be okay? You just told me earlier. Sorry, I know this sounds like I'm trying to catch people out. I'm not. I'm just a little confused because you said
Mm.
earlier you went quite poetic about him being the one, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if he is the one, then what are you doing being totally fine if it doesn't work out?
Um, yeah, I guess as far as me being okay, that's kind of just the logistical stuff. Obviously, emotionally, I'd be cut. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't want to think about it. Supposedly, if it did happen, I probably would just like block it out from my mind and go back to where it came from and go through the motions and start a new life.
Okay, so it wouldn't be too bad, right?
It would be bad.
No,
Uh,
I didn't
like
say
I'm
bad. I
saying,
didn't say it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be too bad.
it depends on what you mean by that. Like it would be pretty bad. Like but I wouldn't suicide.
No, no, no. I wouldn't
Like
say.
it'd
I'm
be
not
pretty.
saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But just because I was asking, like, how would it be? And this is sort of one of the ways that if you really love someone is if the relationship were to end for some reason. It'd be like I'd be completely devastated. I don't know what I would do. It would because it'd be it'd
Mm,
be like losing an arm or something like that, right?
yeah, and
And it sounds
and
like you'd be it would be sad and bad, but you'd be somewhat okay, right?
I mean, no, I would be devastated. I would be devastated, but and like I'm just saying this and how I would practically approach it because this is something that has been thrown around.
Sure.
So like I would obviously be devastated, but I have considered that worst case scenario, and yeah, I would be devastated. Like obviously, I don't want it to happen.
Okay. Now, does your boyfriend know about your parents' history of this threatened breakup, endless divorce, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so with your parents, you said that there was a long sort of breakup, divorce period. Was that where they were threatening divorce, or what was happening during those 5 years?
Um. Yeah. So my dad was making accusations. The divorce was signed. Yeah, the divorce was signed. For a moment, he still lived with us because he needed to needed to like buy a new house. So it was during that waiting period, and yeah, my parents lived in the same house for maybe like 2, 3 years, and they didn't speak to each other.
Okay. Were there threats of separation when you were younger? I'm leaving you. I'm divorcing you. You know, that kind of stuff.
No, no, not that I know of.
Okay.
But not that I know of, but I think on my boyfriend's side there was that.
Oh, his parents have threatened to leave each other.
Like yeah, yeah. I think he was even telling me that like a few like a few weeks ago his dad was, threatening to send his mum back, which is
Send his
which is
mom
like
back. What is
absurd
that? What does that
because
mean?
because he comes from an immigrant background as well, and yeah, yeah, it's preposterous. Like I think his parents they're still together, and they the emotionally immature bickering cycle is still very very alive and well with them.
Okay, and
But
that's
yeah,
similar
it's
to
like
what's happening with you guys, right? I'm not saying it's the same, of course, right? But it has some
yeah,
similarities to what's happening with you guys, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Like I think for me, my a lot of my parents' stuff is in the past, but I suppose on his side is that's still very well alive for him, and to him it might even be like normal and familiar.
Right. Okay.
But that's his piece. That's his piece of the puzzle, I guess.
And how did your parents, when they would have conflicts, other than the year or two that they lived together, or 3 years that they did live together and didn't talk to each other, what would happen when your parents would have conflicts? How would they
Um,
yell at each other? How would that happen?
would this um would they yell at each other? Um, during the during that period, it wasn't yelling that I remember. It was kind of just like
No, no. I mean, sorry. When they were talking to each other, I get they weren't yelling at each other when they weren't talking to each other, but when they were talking to each other earlier.
like my dad would say like accusatory shit, and my mom would get sad, but she wouldn't really retaliate. Or maybe if she did, he would kind of be overpowering in that she felt like she couldn't, so she kind of just took it. Um,
Okay, so he would be
even during
overpowering,
yeah,
like telling her to shut up and stuff.
not shut up, not shut up. I would say that the dynamic that my parents have and the dynamic that my boyfriend and I have are quite different. Um,
Because
if
your
that's
mother was more
if
passive, is that right?
yeah, yeah. I think for my boyfriend and I, we're very much kind of equal in sort of how we argue and stuff.
Hmm. Okay. All right. All right. Certainly, I mean, I certainly have some thoughts to share, but I'm happy to hear more if that's helpful to you.
Um, and no, no, yeah,
Okay, so you want to continue this relationship for another 4 or 5 years, then maybe get married and have some kids. Is that right? Sorry, are we still on?
um, yeah. Sorry, sorry. You were saying I wanted to continue this relationship
Yeah.
and
So
get married in four or
yeah,
five
what you
years.
want?
Yep.
Yeah, you want to continue this relationship for another, say, 4 or 5 years, and then maybe get married and have kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you want your boyfriend at some point to come clean about the relationship with his family, which means he might be disowned. Is that right?
Yeah.
And if he wants to raise your kids in the Muslim faith, you're okay with that?
Um,
I don't mean to
I
say that
don't
you
I
shouldn't
don't
be.
think
I'm just curious.
would I be okay with that? Um, yeah, I'd be okay with that. Like if they like read the Quran and stuff like that,
No, no, no.
educated
Raised in
on
the
like the
Muslim faith. I don't just mean they read the Quran. I mean raised in the Muslim faith. Because people tend to become more religious when they become parents.
mm, yeah. Well, uh, that would have to be a conversation on its own. Like if you were gonna ask if I wanted them to be if I was okay with them being by the book Muslim, yeah, I wouldn't be able to say yes on that. Um,
Okay, so you would rather they would not be raised in the Muslim faith. I mean, maybe culturally, like whatever it is, but not in a sort of religious or fundamentalist manner. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. And if your boyfriend listens to this conversation, will he be surprised at what he hears, or would this be stuff that he would be pretty familiar with?
No, yeah, he wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, to be honest, religion isn't something that we have talked a lot about. Like, nor is it something that he necessarily enforces me to learn about. And I don't think he's like very guided by that. I mean, as you said, people are more religious when they get older, so
Well,
maybe
no,
in the
in
future it
particular
might
when they
change. But
become, yeah, when a man becomes a father, particularly somebody who's got a fairly strong religious beliefs in the family, it tends to go a little more that way, though. Of course, that's not 100%. Okay.
yeah, I
So
don't think that's the case. But okay,
is he the one? Is this what you want for your life?
yeah.
Okay, then why do you say things that hurt him if you care about him?
Um,
And why does he say things that hurt you? Because you said, I asked you for his virtues, and you said he's very caring, he's very thoughtful. And then you said,
mm,
well, but he threatens to dump me on a plane and send me home. And then he tells me to shut up.
yeah. Like supposedly, if I'd say 99% of the time he's really, really good, but say there's that 1% of the time,
Well, not if it's every
like
couple of
you'd
weeks.
say,
No, no, no. Not if it's every couple of weeks. And you had a fight that went on for 3 or 4 hours. That's a nightmare. That's not what. That's
that's
not like. Don't. I may not be East Asian, but I'm not terrible at math. That's not 1%.
mm, yeah, yeah, I'm aware of that, especially lately when I say the fights are getting more bitter. Like if I was
Yeah,
gonna sort of express as a percentage of, you know, how many negative times versus how many positive times, yeah, it is sort of more and more negative. And even like when we try to be happy, like it feels like it's not as happy, like
sure. I mean,
because
it
everyone's
erodes.
like a bit,
Yeah, because you're tense. Once you've had the bad times, if you don't resolve them completely, you get tense and you get
yeah,
more nervous, and it's harder to relax and enjoy your time together. Right.
yeah.
Right.
And it's like how, and it just seems like with that trajectory, it just like it seems like it's just going towards like the bitter end.
Oh yeah.
And
No. If
like
this
I
if this
don't,
trend if the trend continues, the fight's getting worse. You break up. And that's the best case
and I don't
scenario. The worst case scenario is you don't break up and it's even worse, right?
like, yeah, you could be in like 10, 15 years of like a bad marriage. You
Well,
could have
kids.
kids and you could
Yeah,
get
yeah.
locked in. Um, yeah, and I don't know how to break that like cycle. It's like seeing something that I really don't want to happen. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's like something's happening like in front of your eyes and you don't want it to happen, but it is just happening.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna yank you off of this bizarre train track determinism thing you've got going on here. So what's happening in your
Yeah, please.
relationship is happening entirely because you're choosing things. So let me ask you this way: Has when you're out at a restaurant and does he ever tell you to shut up or be bitter or mean in public?
No.
Right. But do you ever do that to him?
No.
Oh, look at that. You can control your behavior and be nice to each other, right? So what happens is
Yeah.
your standards, when you get in private, your standards collapse. In other words, you give yourself permission to do things in private that you would never do in public. Yell at each other, say shut up, whatever, threaten. So this is just a matter of permission. You give yourself permission to do these things. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And he gives himself permission to do these things.
And I am
Okay, go ahead.
like I am aware of that. I'm aware that we we behave badly, but it's like and it's like yeah, you to your argument that we do have like we can't control it because you don't do it in public. But it's like it's like sort of like when when your emotions are up in that
No, no,
split
okay.
second,
Listen. So,
like you
did I listen for like 2 hours?
yeah, sorry.
Okay. So can I get some words in here? Thank you. So you've already told me why, and you just told me again. You've told me why you do these bad things. It's because you give yourself permission. And the permission that you give yourself is, well, I'm upset. I'm angry. You said when emotions run high, but emotions can run high in public, but you still control yourself. So what happens is that you have inherited, the worst and most dangerous thing that we inherit from dysfunctional parents is not the bad behavior, but the excuses for the bad behavior. Because it's the excuses that cause the bad behavior to continue, right? So maybe it's because you called your father mad or insane when he wasn't. You said he was a lecturer, and schizophrenics are generally wandering the streets unshaven with their underpants on their head. So he's not that. He
Yeah.
still had a functional middle class job.
No, no, actually, well, he lost his job because of his schizo. So
Well, okay,
it's
that's fine. So I mean, at what age did he lose his job?
um like last year.
Okay, so schizophrenia normally hits late teens, early 20s. So it
Yeah,
may be that he got crazier and crazier over time, but when you were younger, he still had a job and had a functioning marriage and was a functioning member of his society, right?
yeah, I would say, yeah, I would say he does differ from in that he can keep it in. Yeah,
Right. And your
he
father, I assume, did not beat you in public.
no,
All right. So he's not schizophrenic and crazy, because crazy people will say crazy things even in public.
yeah,
So he had self-control in public, but he relaxed his self-control in private. And you and your boyfriend have self-control in public, and you relax your self-control in private. And I think you said things like your father, he had mental illness, or he was schizophrenic, or he was crazy, or he hit us because he was angry. None of that is true. I'm sorry to be blunt, but none of that is true. And that's what's poisoning your relationship with your boyfriend. Why did he hit you?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, why did your father hit you? Because he wanted to, and it gave him pleasure, or it gave him relief from negative emotions. He chose to hit you. He didn't hit you because he was crazy. He didn't hit you because he was angry. Crazy people don't restrain their craziness in public. I know this. I have a genuinely crazy mother, and I would get calls from the mall to come pick her up because she was doing crazy things at the mall. So
Mm.
now he may have ended up that way for sure. I mean, but certainly when we're talking about when you were younger. So your father did not hit you because he was angry, because people can get angry without being abusive, right? I mean, you've heard me
Yeah,
be a little annoyed at times in this call, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but I haven't been mean, right?
no, yeah.
So anger,
You've asked questions, but you've been fair.
yeah, no, but I mean, when I started to tell you, here's what I need to say, and you interrupted me within 20 seconds, I had to say, let me talk, right? Or the interruptions that happened earlier and so on, right? So you could be annoyed or angry or upset. It doesn't mean that you become abusive. Your father didn't hit you because he was angry. Because what's that to say that what that means in your mind is that if you get angry, then you can lower your standards of behavior. And then you could say, well, I said what I said because I was angry. And this has been, when you listen back to the call, this has been a constant theme of what we've been talking about is the excuses for people's behavior.
Wait, sorry, you just cut out. Could you repeat that again?
Yeah. So what's been a constant factor in our call has been excuses, and this is not a criticism. I'm just pointing out the causality that you have excuses for people's behavior. I was angry. He was upset. My father was crazy. Blah blah blah. And the excuses are what cause the behavior to reproduce. Because if you have it in your mind, if you have this principle that says, well, I'm angry, so I can say stuff, I can say mean things. And then later I can create or give the excuse, well, I didn't mean it, right? Which means that, that puts your partner in an impossible situation, right? Because if you're having a conflict with your partner and they say bad things or mean things, and then later say, oh, I didn't mean it, then what happens the next time you're in a conflict and they say something and you say, oh, you don't mean that. Oh, you're not serious. Oh, I don't have to believe you. What happens? Well, they get more angry because it's like, no, you got to take me seriously. I don't want you to just dismiss what I'm saying. It's like, but you keep telling me to dismiss what you're saying because you say say things and then you say you don't mean them. So saying I don't mean it is a cop out. And it is a way of saying, well, I can say bad things to my partner if later I can wave the magic wand called I didn't mean it, I was upset, I was angry, you said this. All of these things are ways to lower standards of behavior, and they're excuses for lowering standards of behavior. So the challenge in relationships is to not lower standards of behavior. Now, of course, that's an easy thing to say. How do we achieve it? Well, we neither give nor receive excuses. We do not give or
Mm.
receive excuses for bad behavior, for saying, I'm putting you on the next flight. It's over. Go home. I don't want you here. It's, we're broken up, or shut up, or, like all of these, mean things that are horrible to say. We say them because we give ourselves permission to say them, and we give themselves our permission to say them because we have excuses, right? We excuse our bad behavior. Oh, I was angry, or I can say mean things and then later say, well, I didn't mean it. And that's an excuse. So the reason why it feels like you're sliding into this canyon of worse and worse behavior is you have yet to challenge and overthrow the excuses that give yourself permission to do and say these nasty things. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying that basically, like, talking to me, it's been a pattern where I kind of give myself and other people excuses for saying things, but and like I say it's an excuse, but even though saying an excuses it, the truth is that you're not really excusing it because like the negativity is still there.
Yes, well, and excuses are promises of repetition. Whatever we make excuses for, we're promising to do again. So in the big fight you had with your boyfriend, where he said, "I need to talk and you need to not to interrupt," and you say, "Okay," and he says, "Ah, you just interrupted. Shut up." All right. Then he said, "Well, I
Yeah,
said shut up because you said something." Right? That's not causal. Why did he say shut up? Because he gave himself permission to say it. Because you were raised with parents who gave themselves permission to do terrible things. They gave themselves permission. And permission is granted when excuses are accepted. There are
mm,
behaviors that need to be inexcusable. And one of them is you do not threaten the relationship. You do not
uh,
threaten the relationship, and neither does he. That is inexcusable. In my experience,
yeah,
when people have threatened the relationship, it doesn't continue. I mean, it may drag on for a while. But if you guys have taken these giant acts of it's over to the base of the relationship, you've threatened the bond. And you've said, if I don't get my way, I'm dumping you, I'm leaving you, it's over. If you don't submit, if right, and that's cruel. And that is inexcusable behavior. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't find a way to forgive it and move on, but you can never say, well, I said that because I was upset, or I said that because you said this, or I said that, but I didn't really mean it, right? No, no, those are all excuses.
no,
And
and I
sorry, go ahead.
as far as exiting the relationship, it's been like the when I say I've done that, like the last time I've done that was ages ago. This is more of like an issue on his end, and I have, yeah, I did lay down the law and saying no, you can't do that. Like I was, yeah, because yeah, it's cruel and yeah, it's extremely distressing. As for that, yeah, I've said that to him, and he hasn't done it since. Um,
Okay, good. So
I don't
so
know.
once you
I feel
so
like
hang on. So once you said something is inexcusable, it stopped happening. So this
yeah,
kind of supports what it is that I'm saying. Sorry, you were going to say?
yeah, yeah, and yeah, the issue here, I think the issue with me here, it isn't even necessarily saying bad stuff, but uh, I think one thing that he has complained that I do is he basically he basically makes a point, and like maybe I say something that's uh, like maybe so maybe he says something, and then I say something, and he's like, hey, I found that hurtful. And then I say, "Oh, oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to be hurtful. I said this because I was trying to explain so and so. And and he says, yeah, but it was hurtful. And I kind of think it's like offensive that he misunderstood me. So from his criticism to me is that I stick to a point and I don't back down. And I think my issue sometimes is in those moments I'm not empathetic towards him. I'm more focused in making, like, sort of being like logical, like to a point of being like a little autistic, or not autistic, but like kind of being like dismissing someone's emotions
But how do you
and
know for
just
how hang on, but how do you know for sure that what you said is not hurtful, or that you may have had an unconscious goal of being hurtful?
um yeah, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it is, sometimes it is just the way that it sometimes it I don't know, it's yeah, it's hard to say because I don't have an example on top of my mind at the moment.
Well, because if I'm in a conflict with someone and I say what you said was kind of hurtful, and they said, "Oh, I didn't mean to be hurtful," they're calling me paranoid.
Mm, yeah.
Like I experienced something negative. Oh, I had no like, if someone says to me, "Hey, it's a beautiful sunny day," and I say, "Well, I find that extremely hurtful," be like, "Well, I'm just talking about a sunny day," right? So that would be me being kind of paranoid and whatever, misinterpreting things, basically, right? So if he says I experienced something as hurtful, and you immediately say, "Oh, no, I didn't mean it to be hurtful in any way, shape, or form," then you're kind of
Mm,
calling him paranoid. No, maybe he is paranoid. I don't know, but it's volatile. So in saying I didn't mean it to be hurtful, you're actually being kind of hurtful. Like so you need to not, and that's defensive, right? Because you need to say, "Gee, okay, well tell me more. What did you experience? What did you associate?" Right? Rather than say, "Oh no, I didn't mean to be." Right? That's defensive, and you need to be curious. If you say something and he says, "I experienced that as hurtful," then you need to ask him questions. Well, what did you experience, and how did you feel? And right, as opposed to me, "Oh no, I didn't." Right, so that just cuts off the communication, right?
yeah, and that is like that is something, yeah, that is something that I'm aware of and we have talked about, and I feel like I have been getting better at that by gradations. It is still that sometimes I don't when things get heated. Like it just seems like when things get heated, a lot of things that we that a lot of things that we know we shouldn't do go out the window.
Well,
But
yeah,
I don't
but
know,
that's a
maybe
choice.
I
That's
think
that's a
also that
choice. That's a
part of
choice.
kind of
Yeah. So my point is that that's a choice. There are circumstances in which you lower your standards, and you need to commit to not lowering those standards. If you guys need to go and argue in a park so that you're in public, so that you're nicer to each other, then go do that. Right. So if you wouldn't say these
um,
mean things in public, then go be in public and have the fight. Did you see what I mean? Like whatever you need to
that's a
do,
good strategy.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you need to do to not say these mean things, you should do. But it comes down to a commitment. I will not. Like in every conversation, we have a bunch of stuff that is on the table for us to say, right? So if you and your boyfriend were low on money for whatever reason, and he came over to you and he said, "Hey, let's go rob a gas station," what would you say?
Like, yeah, no.
No,
That's
no, that's
that's
not like
crazy.
whatever we're going to do to solve our money issues. It's not going to be robbing a gas station, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to have the same thing with being mean to each other. Like, no, I'm not robbing a gas station. And no, I'm not telling you to shut up. And no, I'm not telling you it's over. I am like, that
Mm.
is not on the table of things. Like, if your boyfriend said, we should finish this fight on Mars, you'd say, well, what? No, we're not. No, it's not on the table to finish this fight on Mars. And it should equally not be on the table for you guys to say mean things to each other because you care about each other. And if you care about each other, you
Yeah.
should want what's best for each other, and you should not be mean to each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. For sure. And I guess it's like obviously I do know this stuff, but I guess how I guess like how do you implement it so it sticks? Like I feel like awareness is the first step.
Do you feel that you're coachable
And
as a whole? Let me just ask you this question. Do you feel that you're coachable as a whole? Have you ever taken sports coaching or other kinds of coaching?
yeah, I think I'm decent.
Okay, so tell me about your experience being coached.
Um, like in jobs like in jobs and at work and stuff. Like
Okay.
where we kind of have to learn new things.
What about in non-paid situations?
Like for example,
Well, I mean, you must have friends coaching you, people giving you feedback, sports, a coach in sports, or somebody giving you feedback. I assume that you didn't get any good feedback from your family, but what about other situations?
yeah, like yeah, there have been instances where I didn't play sports,
Well,
but
I
like
can tell that,
there
and so the reason I'm telling you this is I find you extremely uncoachable. I'll just be blunt. I'll
really
just be
well
blunt with
I
you, and I'll tell you why. Because every time I bring something up, you say the same thing. No, no, no. I know that. No, no. I've gotten better at that. No, no. That's more of his issue. Blah 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 blah. Blah, right?
mm,
You rush to tell me that my feedback is something you already know, and you just did it again for like the fifth or sixth time. No, no, no. I know this. I know this, but just how do I implement it? Right?
yeah.
Oh no, no. I used to do this, but I'm much better now. And right, no, I've identified that, and it's his issue. Like so, I don't know what to add to the conversation because you know it all.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And I mean,
Like you're calling me up for
yeah,
coaching. You're calling me up for coaching, and you're telling me, no, 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 I fixed that. Oh no, I know all of that. No, and listen, maybe you are so advanced at 25 that me, at 59, can't offer you any good advice. Maybe, but then the question is, why is your relationship in such a mess if you know it all?
no, I mean, no, thanks for the advice and like your feedback, like that probably gives me insight in like how I come across in the arguments.
Well, I just want to be
Like it,
honest with about my experience of you, which is that
no, it's fair. Yeah, no,
you're
no.
kind of a know-it-all in my experience because I keep giving. First of all, I listened for a long time, and then I tried to give you some feedback, and you keep talking over me. And then I try to give you some more feedback. You say, yeah, yeah, I already know that stuff.
Mm,
I try to give you more feedback. Yeah, yeah, but that's his issue. I try to give you more feedback. Yeah, yeah, but I'm getting better at that. Blah blah blah. Like it's impenetrable. I can't get information across to you.
yeah, fair enough. And like that's probably that's probably been echoed. That's probably been echoed by him in our arguments as well. So
Well, and
no,
I assume
that's a
this is
no
because you had highly dysfunctional parents and you had to resist all of their advice. In other words, taking the good advice, like taking the advice of your parents would have been really bad, right?
for sure. Yeah, like I feel like I've like figured out everything on my own.
Right. So are you aware that you have a tough time taking feedback because your parents were insane and gave you bad feedback that you had to resist like crazy?
No, you're making me realize that now. Like I think like now I've like you saying that like has kind of like given me an epiphany.
And I said, look, I really sympathize with that. This is not any, I'm not
Uh,
trying to nag
yeah.
or criticize you or anything, but I'm just pointing out that if you got really bad feedback or the feedback from your parents was just really bad, negative, you had to just, yeah, 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 and just go on, right? You couldn't fight back. You couldn't resist. You couldn't tell them they're crazy or stupid or wrong or dumb or something like that. And so you just had to kind of, yeah, 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 I got it sorted. I got it handled. Thank you. Appreciate the input, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's a mechanic that's chugging away in our conversation, which I think I understand. But, again, I sympathize with the origin of it, but it does mean that
Mm.
it
It's like
feels a little bit like, sorry,
pretending
go ahead.
everything's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah,
when it's
yeah.
not okay.
Well, or it could be that you are very advanced, and I can't give you any particular feedback. I mean, my overall feeling is that I mean, if you were a close friend of mine and you were saying, "Is he the one?" I would say, I don't think so. I think he's. I think you guys have a bit of trauma bond. I think there's enmeshment
Mm.
here. I think that the ethnic, the cultural differences are very large. I think he's
Yeah.
still scared of his family, which means that he's still
Mm.
dominated and ruled by his family quite a bit, as are you. And this is not a criticism. It's just because you're in your 20s and you're just a lot closer to your childhood
Mm.
than middle age. And I would also say that if you guys want to have kids and you don't have any particular cultural roots, you don't have any family, and you're going to have biracial kids, right? Half East Asian and half Indian, that's an unusual combination. And I don't know if you've looked into the challenges that biracial kids have with identity and mental health and so on. it's a real challenge. It's different, like Asian, right? The white and Asian mix, like in California and so on. There's lots of sort of half whites, half Asians, and so on. But wherever you land, I'm pretty sure that the combination of East Asian and South Asian is quite rare. Which means, okay, well,
Yeah.
if you have kids, where are they going to fit in? Are they going to fit into the Asian culture? Probably not, because Asians tend to be quite um, insular that way. The Indian culture, well, I don't know. I mean, you don't seem to have a lot of love for the Indian culture, which I can understand in the way that it's manifesting in your boyfriend's family. But have you thought about your kids and where they're gonna fit in? Because they're gonna be a very tiny minority of people like that in the world.
Yeah, for sure, and I know the Asians have their sometimes it's not even about, like, how well you fit in, but even the Asians have, like, identity issues, I
Yeah,
know.
they do, right? And it's tough, and heaven forbid, God forbid, they ever need a transplant of any kind, right? That's going to be impossible. And listen, and this is sort of why I was asking earlier about what is the great passion here? What is the great love? The great. So, I mean, you face a massive amount of barriers, right? Religious,
Yeah.
ethnic, cultural. You both come from highly dysfunctional families, and have either of you been through therapy?
No. I guess this is, like, one of the first steps for me in
Well, yeah, but
pulling the
and
future, I
so
guess,
yes, and
but no.
you've been together for 3 years. I know two of them are long distance. You've been together for 3 years. So for 3 years, you've been trying to work on the relationship, and if I understand it correctly, it's getting worse, not better.
Mm, yeah.
Now, if after 3 years of working on something, things are getting worse, not better, it may not be the thing. If I've been planning on working on a restaurant and I've been years and, I've had the restaurant open for a year and my sales are going down, not up, would I say, well, this is going to be the business for the rest of my life? Like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And especially if you guys have, and I know you haven't done it for a while and he stopped doing it, but especially if you have threatened the relationship, uh, that 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 leaves a permanent tattoo on the heart. Like that is something you can't undo. That is like, okay, I'm I'm better off without you. The moment you say to someone, "I'm better off without you," to me, the relationship in its current form is dead. Maybe you can find some other form or whatever it is, but if someone says to me, "My life is better off without you in it," okay, then they've just told me what they believe. Now, either they truly believe it, in which case I shouldn't be in their life if I'm making it worse, or they don't really believe it, but they're willing to say that shit just to bully me, which is frankly fucked up beyond words. So the moment that you guys, and maybe this is the lesson to get out of this relationship, that the moment you say to someone, my life would be better off without you in it, the relationship as it stands is no more. Because how are you supposed to be on the receiving end of that? How are you supposed to be like, okay, let's get up tomorrow and go get some waffles when someone has said to you, my life is better without you in it? Oof, heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the bitterness is what are we doing here? There aren't great virtues. You said yourself, you're not a particularly good person. I mean, yet obviously we're all struggling towards virtue, so I understand that. But he doesn't seem to be particularly noble because the one thing you said is he's kind and thoughtful, but he's also cruel and malicious at times. And you say, well, it's not that often. So what? I mean, to take a silly example, a serial killer spends most of his time not killing anyone. And you could have a 40-year marriage with only one affair that lasted for a weekend. That's a tiny, tiny, but it matters, right? The negative stuff matters much more than the positive stuff. I mean, when was the last time you guys had 3 months of smooth sailing, good fun, and no fights?
Um, um, like, yeah, probably a few months ago, and I don't even know if that was even 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, you should. I mean, I'm not saying I'm any kind of objective standard, but my wife and I have maybe one conflict a year, and never raised voices and never name calling, just something we disagree about, and we have to work it out. And it's more strenuous than where are we going to eat dinner or something like that. So, but that's like once a year, and no threats, no escalations, no name calling, no bullying, no like it's just crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff.
Like, have you guys ever like had like have you guys ever had like a rough patch where there were more disagreements than usual, or has it generally been pretty smooth?
No, I don't think we've ever had a rough patch. I mean, we certainly had our stresses in life, but we're a team. We come together on the stresses. We don't turn on each other. So, no, I would say there have been. I can't remember. I mean, it's been 23 years we've been married, and I can't remember any particular time where stuff has clustered. But a marriage should be mostly wonderful. A relationship should be mostly wonderful, like 99%. And the 1% should not be horrible. I've never had a horrible conflict with my wife.
Mm. So I guess, yeah, you're saying by the standards of like a healthy relationship, this is like yeah, this is not good. This is not good at all.
It's
Like
not good.
it's abnormal.
It's definitely. I would not classify it as healthy if you're threatening the bond and he's telling you to shut up, and there's pretty horrible conflicts that last for hours that occur every couple of weeks. And I think because if he was the greatest guy ever and you were just permanently happy, you wouldn't sit there and say, well, maybe I'll get married when I'm 30. I think. And the relationship, I doubt the relationship will last that long simply because there's a biological thing that kicks in, particularly for women, right? Because you're going all in on this
Mm.
guy. If it's not this guy, then who is it going to be? Probably no one. For kids, because if you're with this guy for 7 or 8 years and then you break up, you won't be fit to date anyone else for years because you're too pair bonded. And so then you're going to get
Oh
into
yeah,
your
for
mid
sure.
30s and you're going to try and find some guy and have kids. And I mean, forget it. That's like, so if you are going to stick with this guy for the next couple of years or until you're 30 or whatever, and then get married and if it doesn't work out, what happens is, and it's around the 5 year mark from what I've seen. This is not an absolute rule, but it's not a bad rule of thumb that after about 5 years of being together, if there are no kids, your body would just reject him. Like I'm telling you, I've seen it a whole number of times. You'll just wake up one morning, you look at this guy, and he'll be gross to you because your body, your womb, your eggs, your fallopian tubes, your uterus, the whole thing is just crying out to have children. And it's like, okay, so
Like,
your body assumes if there's no kids after a couple of years, your body just assumes that he's infertile and you need to find another man, and your body will turn on him. Like
really?
it won't even be a conscious thing. You'll just wake up and you're like, because your body is what is your body designed to do? Make more bodies, make babies. That's what male bodies are designed to do. It's what female body. That's the whole reason we're here. That's what we're all about. And if you can't, like, if you're around this guy year after year with no babies, I mean, I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm just telling you what I've seen. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this play out. But you just wake up and it's just like, oh, this guy, like, no, you'll hate his smell, you'll hate his laugh, you'll hate his hair, you'll hate his teeth, you'll hate everything because your body will be like, nope, we need to go make babies and we're not having babies here, so we need to be somewhere else. That's why I was sort of
And you
asking about the
say,
5 year thing. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. So you're saying that that would hit around 35?
No, 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 no. No, that's going to hit you in the next year or two, if right, because it's after about 5 years of being together. If there's no babies, because you don't
Oh,
have the runway
yes.
that he has. Like he can wait because he can have kids into his 50s, 60s, 70s, right? But you can't, right? 35 is geriatric pregnancy. So if you want to have kids, if this is not the guy that you want to spend the rest of your life with, that's why I asked at the beginning, is this your lifelong guy? If this isn't the guy you want to spend the rest of your life with, or if this isn't the guy you want to have kids with, you can't afford to keep dating him because you don't have the time.
Mm. And
Now, if you don't want kids, whatever, then you can have your playtime or whatever, right? But if you want to have kids, then you're in your mid 20s, you're already locked into a relationship for 3 years. You got to make a decision, which means you've got to talk to him about, okay, how are we going to raise the kids? What's your status with Islam? What's going to happen with your family? Okay, what happens if you are disinherited? How much is that? Are you going to resent me if you like? I mean, God forbid this guy gets disinherited from his family, and then for some reason your relationship doesn't work out. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah, for him, it would
Well, for
yeah,
you
he
too,
would
because you've got a conscience as well. You're like, oh, I got bro disinherited from his family, and then I woke up not liking his smell and dumped him. You'd feel like Lilith the
yeah, for
Spider
sure.
Queen or something, right? So you guys are heading into territory that is serious commitment. He might ditch his entire family and culture for you.
Mm,
And y'all aren't even married yet? Because you're moving in ways that equal marriage, but you're not getting married. And you're also not asking the foundational questions you need to ask to figure out if you're going to be compatible, not as, cool kids who are doing the digital nomad lifestyle and having fun in exotic places, but in the actual business of marriage, which is the having and raising of children. You haven't even really talked much about how you might raise your children, which means that you're playing
yeah.
at a relationship more than seriously saying, okay, what is this for? What are our values? Do we want kids? How are we going to raise them? You haven't even figured out where you're going to live, which is, fine. I get the digital nomad thing, but it's playing at a relationship, in my view, more than locking in and being really serious. And because you're playing at it, you can afford to break it. Whereas if you say, okay, this is the guy for my whole life, this is who I'm going to have my Indian, Asian children with. So I can't, I can't mess this up. I can't say mean things. So you guys are able to say mean things to each other because you're not in love. If you're genuinely in love, nobody could pay you enough to say mean things to each other. Somebody
No,
could give
no,
me $1
we
million
are
to tell my wife to shut up. I'd say, nope, wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
no, no, we are in love,
No, because
like,
if
maybe you
no,
just haven't.
no, no, because if you're in love, you don't say mean things to each other. That's what love is. Because if you think that love is combined with saying mean things to each other, God help your children. Because you'll be angry at your children too. You'll be annoyed at your children too, as will he. Are you going to yell at your children? Are you going to tell them to shut up? Are you going to call them stupid? Like disobedient, selfish? If you love people, you don't say mean things to them. This shouldn't be controversial. I know it's kind of controversial, but you don't. You love them, you support them, you want the best for them, you want them to be happy. And I would as soon say something derogatory to my wife as I would pound the back of my hand with a hammer. Because hurting her is like hurting myself. It's not on the table. It's inconceivable. And you guys,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you have not experienced love in your family. He has not experienced love in his family. I'm sure you guys have a lot of affection to each other for each other. I'm not denying that. I'm sure maybe there's a sexual bond and there's certainly some intellectual bonds and maybe there's some trauma bonds. But when you love someone, you don't hurt them and you don't say mean things to them and you don't tell them to shut up and you don't bully them and you don't fight them and you don't make up excuses. And that's love. And you didn't experience that growing up. I'm really sorry about that. I really am. He didn't experience it growing up. And so you think that love is compatible with saying, my life is better off without you. It's not. You don't say, this is my best employee. This is the greatest employee we have. This person is essential to the business. And over the last 6 months, I've fired them 3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? No, but seriously, that's what I'm trying to get
Mm.
across. You can't hurt someone you love. You can't. I mean, does that mean you'll never do anything that hurts them? No, of course, right? I mean, we can all be thoughtless or careless or whatever it is, right? But if you love someone, nobody could pay you any amount of money to insult them or hurt them or tell them that your life is better off without them. Just not going to happen. And I just need to denormalize whatever's going on with you guys and say, this is not good. It is not sustainable. It's not healthy, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't fix it. What do I know, right? But don't have this as your standard and don't have this as, well, we're upset. Well, all couples do this, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit.
Mm.
Bullshit. All couples do not do. Maybe most couples do. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But it's not all couples and it's not healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, yeah, supposedly one reason that probably contributed to my hesitancy in thinking about children is because we talk to it that way. but to your point, yeah, maybe because maybe we feel it's okay that we lash out at each other like that because we haven't fleshed out a lot of important things. Because it's sort of, if you're not marriage minded, if you don't have a common goal, then you are fucking around. And
Yeah,
like that's is yeah, no, and yeah, I guess a lot of my attitude towards his family, to the religion thing, it's been like, oh, we'll oh,
it'll
yeah,
work
we'll figure
out.
it out.
We'll cross that bridge when we
But
come to it. No, don't do that though. Don't do that.
yeah, like to you, hearing you as like an outsider, you're like asking hard questions. I'm like, oh,
You need
yeah.
to choose. You need to choose your
Mm,
boyfriend and your husband on the basis of what's best for your future children. Will this guy be the best possible father for your children? Will he be a great, kind, patient, warm, loving, and wise father? Because that's
yeah,
what you're choosing.
and
You are choosing the father of your children, and you're making a decision on your children's behalf. And what was your big complaint about your mother? She didn't choose a good father for you, right? She chose a bad father for
yeah,
you, right?
yeah,
So that's the question you have to ask yourself. Is he the best father I can have for my children? Because you're choosing on their behalf. You get a choice, they don't. Maybe he's great in bed. I don't know, right? So then you have all of that fun, but that's not for your kids, obviously, right? So you're choosing a guy to be the father of your children. Your mother chose badly, right?
yeah, pretty badly.
Very badly.
Yeah, so
Uh,
that was an
very
understatement.
badly. Come on.
Very.
Guy was a hitter and crazy, right?
Mm,
And projected and just unstable. So when you look at him, looking at him as a boyfriend is a teenage mentality. And I'm sorry to sound negative, but it is. Because, who's going to take me to the prom? He's cute, he's funny, blah, 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 right? And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that when you're young, but you're mid-20s. You're not a kid anymore. You've been an adult for 7 years or more. So you need to start dating based upon who's going to be a great father for your future children, because that's what you wish your mom had done. And that's what you need to do. Now, if this guy, and you don't have to answer this question, right? Because it's a big question, and we'll end up here because we had a good old chat.
mm,
But if you look at this guy and you say, this man, I couldn't choose a better father for my children. He's got the skills, he's got the warmth, he's got the intelligence, he's got the wisdom, he's got the maturity. He is the best father I could choose for my children. Put a ring on it. Do whatever you need to do to get him to the altar. But if you look at him and you look at him through the eyes of a child, and you say, "Ooh, I don't know, man. He's got a bit of a temper. He's kind of volatile." But because the last thing you want in this life is to end up reproducing for your children what you experienced yourself, right?
yeah, for sure.
And
That's like the last thing.
if this guy has a temper and he's volatile and he's aggressive, oof, don't do it, man. Don't do it. You do not have the right to make that decision on behalf of your children. You need to date. If you want to have kids, you need to date with the intention of who's best for your kids. And if he's not the guy, you're gonna have to grit your teeth and find the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Like
playtime part, I think, is
either,
probably over after 3 years. You've got to make decisions based upon what's best for your kids. I'm so sorry. I'll let you have the final word. My apologies.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So either either make the decision to leave or act as if this is going to be for real, and not to, yeah, not to basically f around. But
Okay. What was my last speech about? I just want to make sure that landed.
and yeah, be like, don't think on your behalf. Think of what what your kids would want, and
Right.
have, like, basically choose the person that would be the best for them, and not repeat my own childhood, because that would be the last thing that
Yeah.
I want.
Marriage isn't about you. It's about what's best for your kids. Now, you being happy with their father, blah blah blah. That's good for the kids and all that. But that would be my suggestion. All right. Well, let's end here. I really do appreciate the conversation, and I'd love to hear how things go moving forward. And I certainly wish you the very best, as I wish for your boyfriend as well.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks a lot for thanks a lot for the channel. Definitely look definitely listen back to it, see how I came across, and get some pointers from that. But no, I really think that you did help me think about some things seriously, and like Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Keep me posted and have a great night.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
You too. Will do.